All right, we got some pretty big news, and I'm going to maybe put a damper on it. But there is now a report via Brian Windhorst, and I'm just going to upload this pretty much as is, so don't mind the reading here, that ESPN Brian Windhorst, Kyrie Irving requesting trade out of Cleveland to find a bigger role. Quote, Kyrie and I had a meeting with Cavs leadership where we discussed many different scenarios in reference to Kyrie and his future with the team. Weschler told ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski. The basis of those discussions and what went on in those discussions are between the Cavs and us, and we respectively are going to keep those private. Later on, it was said we just have to, to make sure. News of this report comes days after Irving told Sports Illustrated that the Cavs were in a very peculiar place this offseason. We just have to, make sure that all of our pieces are aligned first and then go from there, Irving told the magazine. It's the summertime. A lot of craziness is going on in the NBA. So, first things first, we're hearing about this now. Brian Windhorst is breaking this story that Kyrie Irving has requested a trade out of the Cavaliers a week ago, which means that GMs have picked up the phone probably 250 times. I would think every GM that is feasible of making this work has called Cleveland and said, here are some offers to think about. There's nothing wrong with GMs picking up the phone and calling any team about offers. It probably happens so much more than we can ever imagine, and if they reported every single story like this, well, then you would see daily, maybe hour by hour, Porzingis wants a trade. This team wants a trade. It was reported that the Lakers called about trading Lonzo Ball already for LeBron James straight up. I'm, exaggerating for effect here, but the point is still sound. Kyrie Irving and the Cavaliers are in a peculiar place. Now, I have not been able to discuss too much of this in detail, but I do not think LeBron James is going to be a Cavalier in the 2018-2019 season. I'm not entirely sold that he's going to go to play for the Los Angeles Lakers. I do think it's, of course, there's potential there, and so much could change over the course of an NBA season, and who knows what happens next year. Who knows what happens with injuries? Who knows what happens with the shakeups in the Western Conference and who comes out of the Eastern Conference? All of these things. Until I actually see some form of another report about a trade being discussed, I think this is, sound the alarms Friday, 1:30 p.m. Western time, California time, and it's just interesting. Now, having said that, there's so much fun to be had with the Kyrie Irving trade rumor. Where could he go? Just got off the phone with Rick Strom. He's doing great in Chicago with Carl the dog. And we were kind of going back and forth, and the first thing we thought was like, oh, what about like the Timberwolves or the Celtics? And then we realized with the Celtics that knowing Danny Ainge, the Cavs could call Danny Ainge. Say, hey, Danny, how's it going? We'll take Isaiah Thomas straight up, and we'll give you Kyrie Irving. And Danny Ainge would be like, let me get back to you in 17 weeks, and I'll let you know what I think. Then we started thinking a little bit more realistically. Where are there two fits that a 25-year-old Kyrie Irving, who I still believe his smartest basketball is ahead of him, maybe not his most explosive, he's still going to be a human crossover highlight reel scoring champion, maybe not scoring leader, but a champion in terms of scoring the basketball, slicing, dicing the rim, his skill set, his offensive skill set moves are some of the absolute nastiest in the National Basketball Association. And we started talking, and Rick was thinking the Suns. Not a bad place. You can trade some of your young talent, maybe a pick or two, pick up Kyrie Irving. You got a hell of a backcourt if you wanted to run the Kyrie Irving, Devin Booker backcourt, start to build around that in Phoenix. I think the Nuggets, because I'm going to take a look at the Nuggets roster right now, and I can tell you that that's a young team who's got a lot of pieces they could trade in return for a Kyrie Irving that would also kind of make sense for the Cleveland Cavaliers. And by the way, if Kyrie Irving's gone, don't call me crazy. LeBron, maybe trade deadline. But again, also tough to make that happen with salary cap and everything that goes along with it. But the Nuggets are boasting something that would make I think, a great fit for Kyrie Irving. With Nikola Jokic at center, and he's a point center, with a guy like Kyrie Irving who is a point guard but is a score-first point guard, it just makes an absolutely terrifying idea of having the kickouts with Jokic and so much gravity towards him. But not just him. They signed Paul Millsap, another fantastic passing forward in this game, high IQ player. They could trade the likes of a Jamal Murray or a Gary Harris. They have freak athleticism in guys like Will Barton and a decent reserve in players like Malik Beasley, who showed some promise in Summer League this year. They picked up Trey Lyles. And they have and of course the manimal Kenneth Faried, who's somehow younger than we all think he is. He's what, 28, 29 years old? It feels like Kenneth Faried's been playing for a long time. 27 from Newark, New Jersey. How about that? Kyrie Irving on the Nuggets would be very fun. And if there is a trade, by the way, I'm speculating. Please don't think this is a Kyrie Irving's going to the Denver Nuggets. It's just fun. I mean, the idea of being able to throw a player like Kyrie Irving around the trade machine sounds great. So the Nuggets, the Suns. You also have to keep this in mind. After the reports of Paul George, after they finally got traded to the Oklahoma City Thunder, there was some podcast with ex-GMs who were discussing how it is something they don't want to do is trade their player to the same conference. So the Western Conference, just the idea that there'd be another top 15 player, 20 player, I think, top 15, 20 player in the Western Conference is just pure insanity to think what would happen. So it's a quick clip. I got to eat lunch. I got a meeting to run to at some point today, too. So comment below. Where would you like to see Kyrie Irving if Kyrie Irving gets traded? Like, favorite, subscribe. We'll see you next time.